That's good.
Yeah, he will teach his system to others. He has a special system of massage that is, he helps to remove trauma. Sometimes when people have childhood trauma, so it can help to remove trauma, remove distress, stress. These are some of the things that therapists can do. Some good therapists, not those who are doing it for money. Those who really know what they are doing. Yeah. Okay. Homa gyana timiranda siya gyanan janashalakaya. Chakshur minitanyena tasmai shri gurave namaha. Shri Chaitanya manovistam stapitanyena bhutale. Swayam rupa kadamayam dadati supadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamanam. Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shri Rupa Sagrajata Sagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam. Sadhuitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padasagana. Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitam Chaye Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapati. Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastuti Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusati Devi Pranamami Haripriya Vachaka Pataru Vishakipasani Vivacha Paditana Pavanevya Vaishnavi Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome to today's section. So quickly, let us remind ourselves what we have done yesterday. Somebody want to remind us?
I'll do it, Prabhu. So we covered verses 3, 4, 5, and 6 of chapter 8 yesterday. So on verse 3, here Krishna started answering Arjuna's questions of what is a Brahman, what is karma, and what is ajatma. Also, Krishna made a distinction between a Brahman and Parabrahman. Okay, so that we shouldn't confuse the two. That the living entity or the Brahman is just a fragment of Krishna. So although the Brahman may fall down in the material world, the Supreme Lord, the Achyuta, never falls down. Okay, the Parabrahman. Okay, for 8.4, Krishna continues to answer the rest of the questions, the meaning of Adibhuta, Adidaiva, and Adiyagya. Okay, so...
Making it 6 questions already answered.
Yes, that's already 6. And also, the 6 stages of material life of a living entity was described in the purport. The birth, the growth, living for some time, producing byproducts, dwindling, and then vanishing from this earth. So that is why we are Adibhuta. We are created at a certain point and we are annihilated at a certain point. Okay. So, and also he told us on this part on verse 4 that...
Is it, so 1 minute, is it we or the material nature or the material body?
What is it?
Is it, you say we, are you referring to the soul or the body?
The body, Prabhu.
I want that to be clarified.
The body, only the body.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so you told us that as neophytes, we need to be able to perceive or to know, understand Krishna's universal form, his Virat Purusha, because we need to know this Virat Rupa form of Krishna so that we can be able to see him in everything in this universe. Okay. For verse 5, Arjuna asked Krishna, how can one engaged in devotional service know Krishna at the time of death? So Krishna just reminds us that you need to be Krishna conscious, even from the very beginning of your life, so that at the time, or like at the end of your life, in your deathbed, you would remember Krishna. And so you would transcend into his nature upon death. You would no longer go back here. Okay, so you told us certain stories, Prabhu, right, of people cheating Krishna in order to attain his kingdom, but they couldn't. It doesn't work like that because Krishna is like out of the gamblers, Krishna is the greatest cheaters of them all, so you cannot fool him. Okay, for 8.6, the Okay, the main point here is that whatever the state of being remembers at the time of death, that form is what you're going to attain in your next life, without a doubt. That's it, Prabhu.
Thank you very much. Appreciate. Thank you very much. And also, very good example is the story of Bharat Maharaj, of that chapter 6, of the 6, sorry. Bharat Maharaj was abdicated everything in his kingdom, went to the forest to meditate. He became compassionate to a deer. And because he became compassionate to a deer, he became so attached to the deer. And when he wanted to leave his body, he got the body of a deer. I mean, when he left his body in the next life, he got the body of a deer. That's a very practical example of one that whatever you think of at the time of death, that is what you remember. That is what you will attain. But yes, so like that. So it's a very Krishna. Whatever Krishna is telling us in the Bhagavad Gita, is real. It's and there's so many. I remember one time I was going for book distribution in my country, and I came across one person. So I was preaching to him. I was trying to educate him about reincarnation, and so I was telling him, "Do you believe that somebody can take this different kind of body, according to our activities?" And he was telling me, "You don't need to tell me that. Actually, I have a practical experience, because this Muslim, they used to buy a goat, for Salah. Before Salah, they used to buy goats. You said they went to a market to buy a particular goat, and this goat, when they brought the goat to their house, the goat was entering into the different, room as if he knows everywhere. He was, was very attached to the different particular person in the family. You can just feel that this goat has been in part of this family before. There's this strong connection between them and the goat. Then they feel that this goat must have been something that reincarnated, So I was just looking at him when he was narrating these stories. That maybe this goat must have been maybe their grandfather or father who was very attached to the family and come back, So some people, they have a particular, and you see some people, they have a particular dog, very attached to this dog, and they love this dog like it's part of the family. You can never know. It may be part of the family in the past life. Somebody, maybe the grandparents, who's very attached to the family, wants to come back to that family. And if they have not done so much well to get a human body again, they may get a particular animal body, maybe a dog or cat. So in Africa also, we believe in reincarnation, So this Krishna is talking like this. He's telling us this, that whatever we remember at the time of death, that is what we attain. Of this, there is no doubt. You see? So that is why whatever we practice thinking of throughout all our life, surely that is what we will remember at the time of death. If it is wealth, you love money so much, making money, you don't remember Krishna, you don't think of Krishna, only thinking about money. And when you're about to die, you are thinking of money. Not that you become money because you think of money, but you may become a cockroach in the cupboard where your money is being kept, or you become a rat running around the so like that. So this is what happens, So Krishna is telling us. So it's very, very important we take note of this. So let's continue. So Krishna is going to describe to Arjuna Yoga Mishra Bhakti. There are 4 kinds of bhakti. There are 4 kinds of devotional service. 4. We have Karma Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, and we have Shuddha Bhakti. So Karma Mishra Bhakti means engaging devotional service, but we have some fruitive intentions. And Jnana Mishra Bhakti means engaging in devotional service, but we are very attached to Gyan, knowledge. And Yoga Mishra Bhakti means engaging in devotional service, but we are still interested in Ashtanga yoga and all the rest. And then Sudha Bhakti is just engaging in pure unalloying devotion to Krishna. So Krishna is going to describe a little of Yoga Mishra Bhakti to Arjuna in this particular passage. So let's continue. We're very happy to have His Grace Chaitanya Chandra back in Philippines. You know, Prabhuji, you're welcome. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Nice to be back.
Yes, you're very welcome back. Prabhuji has come to start marathon. Who are those who are ready for, who are preparing for marathon? So they're going to start distributing books. You know, whenever you have time, you can join the marathon. And if you don't have time to join the marathon, you know what you can do? Let me give you a secret. This is a secret. Don't tell anyone, okay? If you cannot join the marathon, just meet Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu and ask him, Prabhuji, how much will it cost to give 10 people's books or 100 people's books? And the Prabhuji do his calculation and say, oh, pam, 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 pam. Actually, if you give me 500 pesos, I can give like 50 people books. Oh, then by doing that, you have given 50 people books without going out, just by sponsoring the books. Because then Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu will take these books out there and he will be very compassionate on your behalf. Oh, you are interested, you don't have money, please take. Niharika Mataji has sponsored this book. Oh, you want this book? Please take. Nikki Mataji has sponsored this book. Oh, you want this book? You don't have money? Please take. Tripura Mataji has sponsored this book. Oh, you want this book? You don't have money? Please take. Angel Mataji has sponsored this book. Oh, you want some book? You don't. Oh, Achintya Rupa Mataji has sponsored this book. Pitamba Prabhu has sponsored this book. In this way, you are distributing books, but you are where you are. You know, this is what we call smart work. Smart work is better than hard work. Okay, so let us all engage in smart work by sponsoring some books in the December marathon for those who cannot go out for distribution. Okay, so just do according to your size. If it is 100 pesos, you can give for 2 people or 1 people or 3. No, give. But would you please give out some books on my behalf, Hare Krishna. Okay, so you're welcome, Prabhuji. Nice to see you back. So
I like this verse.
Yes, we done it yesterday. So we continue. Text 7. Tasma sarveshu kaleshu mamanu smara yudhyacha mayar pita mano budir mamevasya samsaya. I love this verse. You love that one. I love this one. You see? I love this one because I always quote this verse to working devotees. Anytime I want to speak to working devotees, I always quote this verse. Krishna make it very clear here to Arjuna. He says, therefore Arjuna, you know, because he just finished explaining whatever you think of, that is what you attain. So he's giving Arjuna the practical application on how to do that when you are living. Okay, therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time, carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activity dedicated to me, and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will tell me without doubt. So Krishna is giving practical application on what he have just said. Arjuna, I told you that whatever you remember at the time of your death, that is what you will attain. But for you, while living, you have to just think of me while you are carrying out your prescribed duty. And by doing this, surely you will remember me at the time of death. This particular verse, you know, there are different verses in Bhagavad Gita applicable to different ashrams. But this particular verse in Bhagavad Gita is applicable to the working class devotees and all the devotees also. Okay. So here Krishna is telling Arjuna, you think of me and carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. Krishna did not tell Arjuna, Arjuna, go and meditate, I will fight for you. No. Even though Krishna is the one doing the fighting. 1 minute, I need to on the phone. Even though it's Krishna who is doing the fighting, Krishna will show Arjuna in chapter 11 how he has done the fighting for Arjuna. He has killed everyone. But still, he asks Arjuna, you do your duty. So Prabhupada gave a very wonderful purport, very short, but very heavy. So I want someone to read the short purports.
Okay, read it.
Yes, please.
These instructions to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagement. One cannot continue them and at the same time think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. This will free one from material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in Krishna. By chanting Krishna's name, one will be transferred to the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, without a doubt. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, Prabhupada saying, Krishna, this instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men. You understand? All men engage in what? Somebody can have to finish this for me. This is very important for all men engage in what?
Material activities.
Material activities. Yes. Means that it's meant for all people who are engaged in work. We are working there in the material world. Prabhupada says specifically, this is instruction is to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his duties, his prescribed duty, or engagement. No. One can continue them at the same time think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. So where this knowledge that unless you live in a temple, you cannot be Krishna conscious comes from, I don't understand. Okay. Because yeah, if we really want to preach Krishna consciousness and we want to be part of the society, everybody has to be engaging whatever the activity they're engaging in society at the same time, becoming devotees. That is the only way we can have devotee in all different spheres of life, all categories of life. You can have a devotee as a custom, can have a devotee as an immigration officer, you can have a devotee, we have one devotee who is a police officer, you can have a devotee as a military man, you can have a devotee as a lawyer, you can have a devotee as a doctor, you can have a devotee as, devotees doing all various kinds of prescribed duties, and at the same time, they are Krishna conscious. So this is what Krishna Prabhupada is telling us here. And just by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, then we, at the end, attain the spiritual planets of Krishna. That is what Prabhupada is telling us. So I always quote this verse and the purpose because the purpose is very short. Whenever I'm talking to, some people walking or something, I will just show them this verse. You can be doing whatever you're doing and at the same time become a devotee of Krishna. Krishna never say we should stop walking. No. Just chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada says, chant Hare Krishna. And at the end, you go back to Krishna. Krishna without a doubt. Prabhupada say, without a doubt. Without a doubt. So this is very, very important. We should take notes. This is how we should preach to our friends. Okay. So yeah, Krishna will continue. Very, very nice verse. I love this. Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasana yagamina. Paramam rishampi yati pantanichinta yan. He who meditates on me as the supreme personality of Godhead is mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path. He, O Partha, is sure to reach me. So this is why the middle chapter of Bhagavad Gita is very confidential. So Krishna is talking about pure devotional service, just thinking of him and concentrating one's attention and intelligence on him. And that is the only way to attain Krishna. There's no any other way. So whatever we are doing, we are engaging in any ordinary activities, we should just make sure that we chant our Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That is how we to think of Krishna. We chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra before going to work. Sleep early so that you can wake up early. You know, when you sleep late, then it will be very difficult for you to chant in the morning before going to work. But when you sleep early, it will be very, very easy for you. Very easy. If you sleep early, let's say you sleep by 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, sorry. You finish the class by 8 o'clock, so you cannot sleep by 8 o'clock. So let's say you sleep by 9 o'clock or 9:30, then I remember whenever I sleep by 9 o'clock, sometimes I will be really tired. Once I finish the class, I just switch off the lights and sleep. And then you see yourself, you wake up by 2 o'clock. Just tell me, if you wake up by 2 o'clock, how will you not finish your rounds before Magalati? It's not possible. It's very easy for you to finish your round before Magalati. And it's very, very important to switch off the light while you are sleeping. If you are sleeping with someone who always, they like to sleep late and they don't switch on the lights, just buy that cloth that they use for covering the eyes, you know? So whenever you want to sleep, just put the cloth in your eyes. If you are living in the same room with someone, put the cloth in your eyes and you sleep. Because what happens is that when you sleep with light on, you don't sleep deep. Because the light can still penetrate your eyes. So it's always, that is why it's always good to, when there is darkness, you can sleep, have a deep sleep. So if you have a deep sleep, even if you sleep 6 hours, your body will be so active, so nice, so rest, rest, and you're very, very active. And you don't need. Hare Krishna, somebody say something?
Prabhu, I sleep with light.
You are scared. Are you scared?
Yeah, but I also sleep.
Don't be scared. Nishingadev is always with you, okay?
Is that bad, sleeping with light? Something?
If you sleep with light, you will not be able to sleep very deep. It's always good to switch off the light when you are sleeping.
Okay.
Or you can arrange to buy a dim light. If you don't want to off light completely, okay, you buy a dim light that you can plug into the socket. When you switch off the main light, then the dim light, maybe preferably, maybe if you want to have blue light or green, depending on what color will be very deep, but red is not good, okay? So dim light is very deep. So when you switch off the bright lights, so that dim light will be there. The dim light will not go into your eyes. You see, and you can still sleep. At least you will not be completely dark. But actually, it's always very good when everywhere is dark and you just sleep. You sleep very deep. But if you cannot sleep, it's not by force. You cannot sleep light. Then get a dim light. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So Krishna is saying if we meditate on him and we always remember him, then we surely reach him without a doubt. So most important thing is we should organize our daily activities in a way, somehow or the other, we should always remember Krishna. Somehow or the other, remember Krishna. Even when we are walking, sometimes when we have break, when you are eating your prasadam, you can read one chapter of Bhagavatam. Only the verses, you don't need to read all the purport sometimes. Just to get the stories, Just read all the verses of, maybe you can read chapter 3, count to 3, chapter 1. Just read all the verses, like that. Or like just, then just think of Krishna in between something like that. You feel very peaceful and very happy. I'm telling you. See, thinking of Krishna gives happiness. So let's hear from Pastor.
Okay, I'll read.
Yes,
Purport. In this verse, Lord Krishna stresses the importance of remembering him. One's memory of Krishna is revived by chanting the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna. By this practice of chanting and hearing the sound vibration of the Supreme Lord, one's ear, tongue, and mind are engaged. This mystic meditation is very easy to practice, and it helps one attain the Supreme Lord. Purusham means enjoyer. Although living entities belong to the marginal energy of the Supreme Lord, they are in material contamination. They think themselves enjoyers, but they are not the Supreme Enjoyer. Here it is clearly stated that the Supreme Enjoyer is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his different manifestations and plenary expansions as Narayana, Vasudev, etc. The devotee can constantly think of the object of worship, the Supreme Lord, in any of his features, Narayana, Krishna, Rama, etc., by chanting Hare Krishna. This practice will purify him, and at the end of his life, due to his constant chanting, he will be transferred to the kingdom of God. Yoga practice is meditation on the supersoul within. Similarly, by chanting Hare Krishna, one fixes his mind always on the Supreme Lord. The mind is fickle, and therefore it is necessary to engage the mind by force to think of Krishna. One example often given is that of the caterpillar that thinks of becoming a butterfly, and so is transformed into a butterfly in the same life. Similarly, if we constantly think of Krishna, it is certain that at the end of our lives we shall have the same bodily constitution as Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So that is it. When we think of Krishna, we get the symbol, the belly of Krishna surely at the time of death. So let's read Papa's quotes from text 7. Okay, text 7. We read 6 yesterday, no?
Yes, Prabhu, we read 6.
Okay, so let's read from 7 from Papa's quote. So whoever can see properly, please you can read.
I'll read it, Prabhu.
Yes, please go ahead.
If he doesn't practice remembering Krishna while he is struggling for existence, then it will not be possible for him to remember Krishna at the time of death. Lord Chaitanya also advises this. He says, Kirtaniya Sadaharihi. One should practice chanting the names of the Lord always. The names of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. So Lord Krishna's instruction to Arjuna to remember me and Lord Chaitanya's injunction to always chant the names of Lord Krishna are the same instruction. There is no difference because Krishna and Krishna's names are non-different. In the absolute status, there is no difference between reference or referent. Therefore, we have to practice remembering the Lord always, 24 hours a day. By chanting his names and molding our lives activities in such a way that we can remember him always, if a married woman is attached to another man, or if a man has an attachment for women other than his wife, then the attachment is to be considered very strong. One with such an attachment is always thinking of the loved one. The wife who is thinking of her lover is always thinking of meeting him, even while she is carrying out her household chores. In fact, she carries out her household work even more carefully, or so her husband will not suspect her attachment. Similarly, we should always remember the supreme lover, Shri Krishna, and at the same time perform our material duties very nicely. A strong sense of love is required here. Hare Krishna.
Read 8, then we'll continue.
Okay. If you think of Krishna 24 hours a day, you'll become fully Krishna conscious and your life will be successful. This requires a little practice. Abhyasa yoga yuktena shitasananya gamina. I should not allow my mind to think of any subject other than Krishna. We have so many books, so you must find time to read all these books or to chant. When you are hungry, you take prasadam. When you're sleepy, you take a nap just to refresh yourself. Then keep on either chanting the beads or reading the books or talking about Krishna. In this way, you will always remain in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
This is very, very interesting. This is Krishna consciousness. This is pure Krishna. Prabhupada is telling us, teaching us how to live our life, as Krishna-centered life, And at the end of the day, at the end of our life, we can go back to Krishna. And then Prabhupada has given a very nice example, the same instruction that Chaitanya Prabhu gave to Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami was a very rich, came from a very rich family. He was so renowned that every time he wants to live his the household life and go after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and his parents will send people to catch him and bring him back. Every time he was doing this, they always bring him back. So one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Nawadeep, and Raghunath Das was opportune to meet him. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, Raghunath Das, why are you behaving like that? Just sit at home and behave like same example Prabhupada gave in this quotes. You should behave like a woman who has a paramour. A woman who has a paramour will be very attached to that paramour or another man. That's every time he's always thinking of that woman. Every time she's always thinking of that man. Even when she's carrying out our house chores, it's always thinking of another man and always thinking of opportunity to meet that man. So Chaitanya Prabhu told Raghunath Das Goswami, you should behave like this. Means that you should carry out your material activity perfectly. But in your heart, in your mind, you're always thinking of Krishna. In your heart of hearts, you're always thinking of Krishna and always thinking, when will I meet Krishna? When will I meet Krishna? In this way, this is how to practice devotional service in the material world. The scriptures always telling us and guiding us. Same example Prabhupada given or another man drinking up another. In Nigeria, we used to call it side chicks. I don't know what they call it here. They call it side chicks in our place.
Same here, Prabhu.
Oh, the same. Okay. If a man has a side chicks, he's always thinking about the side chick. and he's always thinking of when to meet his side chick, So this is how devotional service has to be performed. We should consider Krishna to be our side chick. And we have to be, very attached to performing our duties. Like you are very, it's not like, let's say for example, a devotee who is working in the material world, then every time you want to show people that it's a devotee, no, this is Maya, I'm supposed to be chanting at work, instead of you to be doing your work duty, you are chanting. No, this is not good. You should do your duty very nicely that people will not know what you are thinking inside you. But inside you, you're always thinking of Krishna. Whenever you get the opportunity, Hare Krishna, you think of Krishna, and then you carry on your duty very perfectly. You see, this is the process. This is how to really become attached to Krishna. This is how to develop pure love for Krishna. Because eventually, one day, you give up everything to go after Krishna. Just like Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami now followed the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu perfectly. So he was sitting at home. He was managing the family business perfectly. The wife was so beautiful, he was there, but he was not so attached to the wife, but the wife was there, he was doing husband duty very, perfectly, he was doing house duty very perfectly. Then when the opportunity came, Raghunath Das Goswami left home and never came back. You see? So this is how to carry out devotional service in the material world. Until devotees, until we learn this science as a devotee, until we learn how to perfect this science of performing our prescribed duties and at the same time thinking of Krishna, without trying not to forget Krishna. Until we learn this science, we cannot understand what is the meaning of devotional service. Especially those devotees who are working, we have to understand this is how to carry out devotional service. For those devotees who are fully surrendered, who are in the temple, everything should remind them of Krishna. You know, whatever they are doing, everything should be centered around Krishna. We should be so Krishna conscious. Because, like Prabhupada said, whenever you see Prabhupada making in his purpose, you see Prabhupada will always say, engage in devotional service in Krishna consciousness. Engage in devotional service in Krishna consciousness. Because you can be engaging in devotional service in other consciousness. I don't know what consciousness I will call it. But you may not be thinking of Krishna. You know, and if you're not thinking of Krishna, and you are not, although you may be doing devotional service, engaging service, but you are not thinking of Krishna, then you will not get Krishna at the end. Because it's whatever you think of, that is what you will get. So, devotional service in Krishna consciousness, and at the end, we are going to get Krishna. Of this, there is no doubt. There is no doubt. You will get Krishna. The desire just have to be strong. Okay? So we should understand this is what Bhagavad Gita is teaching us. Again and again, Prabhupada is repeating it. You know, repetition is very, very important so that they can drive the main point we can understand. When we go out to preach to people, we should not, you know, tell people to give up their work. Let them continue to do whatever they are doing and chant Hare Krishna. Then Krishna will gradually do the cleansing from the within. You know, then they can learn how to perform their duty thinking of Krishna like that. Because this is the goal of life. Okay? So let's continue. So there's 9. Is it test 8? Yeah, 9. So Krishna is going to be explaining to Arjuna how to think of him and Yoga Mishra Bhakti. How by engaging in the Sakri, you know, it's what they call Sakriya Yoga. You know, we have chakras. We have about, is it 6 or 7 main chakras in our body? Krishna will be explaining all this also to Arjuna, which they consider to be Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Okay, so let's read this now. Kavi Purana Anushashita Ramanano Aniyam Samanos Paragyata Sarvasya Datara Machintya Rupam Aditya Varna Tamasa Parastad. Watch, meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as he who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is everything, who is the controller who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun and is transcendental beyond this material nature. So Krishna, after explaining to Arjuna how we should constantly remember him, now is giving details about how Arjuna should remember him, how we should remember him. Through Arjuna is passing message to all of us. So let's read the purport.
The process of thinking of the Supreme is mentioned in this verse. The foremost point is that he is not impersonal or void. One cannot meditate on something impersonal or void. That is very difficult. The process of thinking of Krishna, however, is very easy and is factually stated herein. First of all, the Lord is Purusha, a person. We think of the person Rama and the person Krishna. And whether one thinks of Rama or of Krishna, what he is like is described in this verse of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord is Kavi, that is, he knows the past, present, and future, and therefore knows everything. He is the oldest personality because he is the origin of everything. Everything is born out of him. He is also the supreme controller of the universe, and he is the maintainer and instructor of humanity. He is smaller than the smallest. The living entity is 1/10,000th part of the tip of a hair, but the Lord is so inconceivably small that he enters into the heart of this particle. Therefore, he is called smaller than the smallest. As the supreme, he can enter into the atom and into the heart of the smallest and control him as a super soul. Although so small, he is still all pervading and is maintaining everything. By him, all these planetary systems are sustained. We often wonder how these big planets are floating in the air. It is stated here that the Supreme Lord, by his inconceivable energy, is sustaining all these big planets and systems of galaxies. The word achintya, inconceivable, is very significant in this connection. God's energy is beyond our conception, beyond our thinking, jurisdiction, and is therefore called inconceivable, achintya. Who can argue this point? He pervades this material world and yet is beyond it. We cannot comprehend even this material world, which is insignificant compared to spiritual world. So how can we comprehend what is beyond? Achintya means what which is beyond this material world, that which our argument, logic, and philosophical speculation cannot touch, that which is inconceivable. Therefore, intelligent persons avoiding useless argument and speculation should accept what is stated in scriptures like the Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam and follow the principles they set down. This will lead one to understanding. Hare Krishna.
Well, yeah, Krishna explained to think of him. Like proper mention, because it's a person, crucial. So he has a form. Like many of us, when we take darshan of the deities in the morning, we try to keep the deity form in our mind. That's during the day, you try to remember, oh, okay, let's think of the crown, the turban of the Lord. Oh, okay, oh, he was decorated like this. Oh, Krishna. If I ask many of us now, what is the color of Krishna's wearing today? Even those who are in the temple, they will miss it. You see? So we have to practice the remembrance of Krishna in that way. When you take darshan of Krishna, you try to, like fix that form of that day of your mind. That during the day, you just try, do some exercise of trying to remember him. And just sit down one corner in your office after doing some work. And you just try to use your mind to just bring out the picture in your mind and think of it. That is practicing how to remember Krishna. You see? That is practicing how to remember Krishna. And it is mentioned here, Krishna, he knows the past, present, and future. He knows everything. He can see our heart. He knows our heart. And it's achintya, inconceivable. Achintya means inconceivable. Means you cannot comprehend him. I'm very sure Achintya Rupa Mataji will be smiling because she's hearing her name. I hope you know the meaning of your name. It means inconceivable form. Achintya Rupa. Okay, so Krishna's form is inconceivable. That is why, even as a deity form, it's completely transcendental. And that is why worship the deities. We should try to put the deity form in our mind. Once we take darshan in the morning, try to meditate on that form of the deity and put that picture in your mind throughout the day. And sometime in the day, just try to remember that form. Just, like a kind of, practice, like just try to remember, I sit down somewhere. Somebody will be thinking, people will be thinking, what is he thinking about? But in your mind, you're just trying to capture to remember the form of Krishna in your mind. It's like, it's how to remember Krishna, practically. Then you chant Hare Krishna in your mind. You just chant Hare Krishna mantra in your mind. This experience itself is so purifying that when you practice it, every time you can feel the potency. And Krishna is smaller than the smallest. Just imagine. The majority of people in the material world, they cannot understand this. How God can become smaller than the smallest. They cannot conceive. How he can become bigger than the biggest. Just imagine this whole universe we are in is all within God. Like the lotus coming out from the navel of God, of Vishnu, all the different planets are inside the stem of that lotus, as described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So everything is, the whole thing is in the body of the Lord. Just imagine. So the Lord can easily see everywhere in his creation, because it's in the body of the creation. So it's bigger than the biggest, and it is smaller than the smallest, that he enters into even the smallest atomic particle. Just imagine. And no paraya, it is mentioned in Brahma Samhita. Adam Tarasta Paramanu Shayam Tarastam. Because the Lord is smaller than the smallest. And like that, by that, he enters into our hearts. So we should meditate on this different quality of Krishna as one who knows everything, smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest, is unchangeable, inconceivable. These are the greatness. We should meditate on Krishna. So Krishna is describing this to Arjuna, and he's going to give further description in the next verse. So any comments or contribution regarding this quickly? Okay, let's continue. Let's read Krishna. In the absence, let's continue to test 10. So in test 10, Krishna continued this description. Prayana Kale Manasa Charishalena Bhakti Yokto Yoga Balena Chaiva Rupamari Pranama Samya Sastatambarash Purushapupaiti Divyam. We should think of Krishna as one who at the time of death fixes his life air between the eyebrow by the strength of yoga with an undeviating mind, engages himself in remembering the Supreme Lord in full devotion, will certainly attain to the Supreme Personality of God. So here Krishna is describing Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Yoga Mishra Bhakti means devotion, means with yoga, Asanga yoga precisely. When Krishna is saying that you should fix your life here, then undeviating, like the breathing exercise, and the yoga sitting posture, like raising the chakra of the body from the lower to higher, to focus on your eyebrow like that. So this is yoga process, Asanga yoga. And it's very, very important. Like for example, if you want to do chanting, the breathing exercise is actually very, very helpful. I used to do it sometimes, Sometimes I used to do it. Sometimes I'm not very steady, but sometimes I used to do it. And whenever I do that, I feel the difference. Like before chanting, I do Alolo Bilom or Kapalabhati. Like Alolo Bilom is when you press your nose with your tongue and you breathe in from the other nose. When you are breathing in, let the air go inside your stomach, and your stomach is rising when you are breathing in. Then when you block the other side and you breathe out, then your stomach is going inside. Sometimes people, they don't understand this. When they are breathing in, their stomach is going inside because they cannot, they don't understand the science. So when you are breathing in, it means that you are taking air inside your stomach. So your stomach should be rising, not going inside. You see? So when you do, I don't know if you block one side and you you see that your mind become calm. Or you do Kapalabhati, like you are doing, you are breathing with force, and your stomach is going inside. You are breathing from stomach, like stomach is going inside, and you are breathing the air from your nose. That is Kapalabhati. When you do this for some time, you feel the calmness of the mind. That is why some people perform all this yoga, to calm down the mind. All the whole endeavor of yoga system is to calm the mind, to control the mind, for the mind to become peaceful so that you can focus. You see? So even here, Krishna is describing and recommending Yoga Mishra Bhakti to Arjuna. So let's hear more from Srila Prabhupada's purport. Somebody want to read?
Okay.
This one who have not read before.
Ako na, Mataji.
Go ahead, Mata.
In this verse, it is clearly stated that at the time of death, the mind must be fixed in devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those practiced in yoga, it is recommended that they raise the life force between the eyebrows to the Agna Chakra. The practice of Sat Chakra Yoga involving meditation on the 6 chakras is suggested here. A pure devotee does not practice such yoga, but because he is always engaged in Krishna consciousness, at that he can remember the supreme personality of Godhead by his grace. This is explained in the verse 14. The particular use of the word yoga, balena, is significant in this verse because without practice of yoga, whether Sat Chakra Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, one cannot come to this transcendental state of being at the time of death. One cannot suddenly remember the Supreme Lord at death. One must have practiced some yoga system, especially the system of Bhakti Yoga. Since one's mind at death is very disturbed, one should practice transcendence through yoga during one's life. Hare Krishna.
This is very, very important. Prabhupada is, when I was reading this purport in the afternoon, I was meditating on the purport. I was thinking about it. So again and again, I was thinking about this purport. If you look at that last line of the purport, it says, if one's mind at death is very disturbed, one should practice through yoga during one's life. To practice transcendence through yoga means what is this transcendence that Krishna is telling us to practice? You are not disturbed by pain or enjoyment. You are not disturbed by happiness or distress. You are not disturbed by friend or enemy. You are supposed to eat and cold. You are supposed to all the, you can continue to mention all the dualities. Again and again, Krishna is always mentioning these different dualities in the Gita and how we should be focused and transcend them. So during our life, by engaging in Bhakti Yoga, we have to learn to practice this and transcend, at the time of death, it's not easy. The mind is very disturbed. How? Why? Because the body is in pain. The body will be in pain. And if you have not practiced to transcend pain during your life by practicing yoga, then you see many devotees, they tolerate pain a lot. There are some things that ordinarily the materialistic people, when it happens to them, they run to the hospitals. You see many devotees, they tolerate for many years. And you can just see how they tolerate pain so much. For such devotee, the pain of death will be nothing to them. They can easily think of Krishna and smile. You see? Because as a devotee, we have to learn to transcend this. Very, very important. And this is what Papa is saying in this purport. Because unless, whether Papa mentioned in the purport, whether it's Kriya Yoga, Satchakra Yoga, or Satchakra Yoga, or Bhakti Yoga, one cannot come to a transcendental state of being at the time of death if one has not practiced, one cannot suddenly remember the Supreme Lord at the death if one must have practiced some yoga system. You have to practice. So for us, Prabhupada mentioned in the report, the easiest pose yoga is Bhakti Yoga. What is Bhakti Yoga? Sometimes we say Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. What is Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga means hearing and chanting and engaging in service to Krishna. That is Bhakti Yoga. So when you chant and Krishna mantra every day without fail, that is Bhakti Yoga. When you read Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam every day without fail, that is Bhakti Yoga. Whenever you come to temple and you do some cleaning or some service to Krishna, that is Bhakti Yoga. When you go out to distribute books to others, to give them Krishna, that is Bhakti Yoga. But predominantly, Bhakti Yoga means hearing, chanting, remembering the Lord. Hearing, chanting, remembering the Lord, worshiping the Lord, serving the Lord, becoming friend with the Lord. These are the 9 places of Bhakti explained by Srila Prahlad Maharaj in Bhagavatam. So we will stop here. Any comments or contribution quickly before we go today? If not, continue. On Monday, we stop at 10. There's no comment or contribution, then we will continue on Monday. Any question or comments?
Prabhu, question.
Oh, Haribo.
Kind of like 3 questions, but related to each other.
Haribo.
Yes, it's related, Prabhu. So it's kind of like just in connection. So the first question is, what if, actually I wrote it down, 1 second, Prabhu, where is it? Oh, okay, it's here. So what if a person does his services like hypocritically? What would come out of it? Like what's there?
Hypocrisy.
Yes.
You'll be cheated at the end. You'll be cheated at the end. Let me clarify that more.
Yes.
There was one story of a king. So this king has a contractor who build everything for him. He's a contractor of the king. He build the house for the king. So the king will always tell him, okay, go and build an estate for me. He will go there. He will use cheap material. Like that. He has been cheating the king all his life. But he's working for the king. So now he has reached his retired time, his retired day. So the king wanted to settle him. So the king told him, so please, build a very nice house, and use a very good material. Okay, for me, I need that house very urgently. So okay, my king. So he went, he built the place, used a very cheap material, used a very cheap door. Everything was very cheap. Then he came to the king. He said, my lord, I finished building the house. So the king collected the keys from him. So at the final day, after some time, the king called all his servants and everybody, and he said, today I want to appreciate the service of this man. He called him out. So he has been serving me selflessly for all these years, building all kinds of estates and houses for me. Today I want to appreciate him. So he gave him the key of that house he built. He said, take, that ash is for you. So that is my reward for you. Like, because he never knew he was building the house for himself. He used all the cheapest material. Similarly, also, when we do our devotion hypocritically, because let us analyze it in details. Whatever we are doing in devotional service, forget about, we are doing it to please Krishna. No. Forget that we are doing it to please somebody. No. Whatever we are doing for ourselves. Whatever we are doing for our own purification, for ourselves. So, if you don't love yourself, how can you do something properly for yourself? You see? How can you do something properly? So, whatever we are doing devotional service, we are doing it for ourselves. I used to tell devotees when I was in the temple, when I was managing temple in Lagos, see, forget about, oh, you are doing for Krishna. No, let's be practical. Hey, Prabhuji, they ask you to clean the floor. You are cleaning for yourself because you're going to sit on that floor also. You are going to pay obeisances on that floor. So whatever you are doing for yourself. I say, food prasadam, you are going to eat from that food also. Krishna doesn't need our food. But when we do it with devotion, he accepts it. Okay. One day, Priyabhagwan Swami Maharaj was giving a story when I was in his class in Mayapur. And he said, many devotees, they have wrong notion when they go out to distribute books. And he said, many of those devotees, today now they are no more in ISKCON. Why? When they are going out to distribute books, they are thinking they are going to deliver them. Oh, let's go and deliver the fallen souls. Actually, you are not delivering anyone. You are going out there to deliver yourself because by preaching to them, you strengthen your own faith more and more. When you preach to people, you are strengthening your own faith more and more. When you are speaking to them, you are hearing the same philosophy, you are strengthening your own, you are purifying yourself. So actually, whatever you are doing for your own purification, you are doing for yourself. You are not going out to deliver anyone. But only Krishna can deliver anyone, can purify anyone. But whatever we are doing for our own purification. If you have this strong notion in you that whatever you are doing for your own purification, then you will do things in Krishna conscious. Because then you will know that if I do it properly, and somehow or the other Krishna become pleased with it, then that is perfection of my life. So hypocritical behavior in devotional service is due to lack of understanding of the self, which is called identity crisis. You don't really know who you are and what you are doing. That is why you are hypocritical. Okay? Second one.
Second one, Prabhu. So what if a person has studied the scriptures yet continues on speculating about others? Does that mean that he has actually not understood what he has studied?
Speculating on others in terms of what?
It's like, let's say, for example, there is this, what do you call this one? Like something that happened, and then that person, without proper without due process and without proper proof, concluded that this person was actually the one doing that without any strong proof that it was that person. So basically, after so much study and so much hearing on classes of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, yet this person still continues this one because this one is highly repeated almost every time during classes in the movement. So what is the condition of this person, or what's going on? Why this person could not stop speculating on others and something like that?
Thank you very much for this wonderful question. You see, when people are speculating about others, it boils down to the same thing. It can either be they are doing that because of pride, or too much ego, or out of ignorance. You see, because why should you speculate on others? I always give an example. I always tell people, most of my time in my country, I work with Indians as a manager. Okay? An Indian man, he never call you a thief. Even if he knows that you are stealing and he has not caught you red-handed, He will never call you a thief. It's a principle. Let's say, for example, something is missing, and you have 3 people here, and you know, okay, out of this, one of us has taken this, and the man has no, like, say this, the person who is taking it, he will never call any of those 2 people thief until we find out who is holding that. If we practice this principle, you will never speculate on others and unnecessarily commit offenses. Don't speculate on what you don't know. Because what you don't know is beyond you. Yes, don't speculate on what you don't know. So you should always work on facts. Another good one is, if anybody come and tell you about other devotees speculating. My grandma used to do this a lot. My grandma would say, okay, should I call him and ask him? Once the person said, no, it means that you are speculating. You see? Can I ask him? No, don't ask him. No. Why are you telling me? Stop thinking of the negative thing you are telling me about him. You see? Because why are you saying it? Is it to help the person or to bring the person down? Why are you saying it? So if you want somebody to stop speculating about others to you, always ask them, can I ask him? No. Then tell them, please, don't, if you don't want me to ask somebody about what you are telling me about that person, please don't tell me about this person again. Because then you want me to subtly creating offenses about that person in my mind, which is not good for my own spiritual life. Actually, those who do that, they will eventually ruin their own spiritual life because they become very offensive in their mind. Always speculating about others. But Bhakti Shastri Maharaj warned us also about creating suspicious behavior so that people can speculate about us. He said we should avoid that. For example, Bhakti Shastri Maharaj says, if you are in the association of devotees, olden days they use chalk for writing. Chalk for writing on the board, white, the black. So Bhakti Shastri Maharaj says, if you are in the association of devotees, you don't put chalk in your mouth like this. Do you understand? Did you get the points?
Prabhu, can you repeat it one more time?
Okay. Like if you are in the association of devotees, we don't smoke. Then you now take a chalk and you put in your mouth. You are not smoking, but you are holding the chalk, the white chalk, and you're holding it in your mouth like this. You are not smoking, but you are holding the white chalk. That is going to create devotees speculating about you. In that way, you are the one creating the problem for them. Because why are you holding the chalk in your mouth? So that you can make them speculate about you. That way, creating offenses. So, but that's what Maharaj said, devotees should not do that also. You get the point? So it's both ways. You try not to speculate about others' behavior, and we should not create suspicious behavior for others to speculate about us. That we should be very straightforward in our dealings, that don't create suspicious behavior, suspicious tendency, people speculating about us. And the third one, finally, we'll stop by 15 minutes.
Sorry, I extended the class.
I'm very, very happy. Anyone who wants to leave, please, you are free to leave. I'm enjoying question and answer section. I always love that. Please. Yeah, if you want to stay, you are free to stay. Then, but this question and answer is very wonderful. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so the third question, Prabhu, since you mentioned that devotees are mostly, or I mean, almost all of the devotees are actually tolerating pain a lot. So, in line with this question, I would just like to ask though, what if a devotee has been offended a lot, and then that devotee has been tolerating pain so much from the offenses that he or she is getting? So, how could you what was that? As a human being, we all have like limitations on how much we can tolerate pain. So, what is your advice for that one, Prabhu? That is my question.
Question. Thank you very much for all the three wonderful questions you have asked today. Yeah. See, one thing about devotees is that we devotees, we tolerate pain a lot. It's natural because of our philosophy. So, natural to tolerate pain is there. There are some things that the body tolerates a lot. Then later in the future, it creates so many big diseases in their body. It's just because they tolerate in the beginning. You see, which is one of the nature of devotee generally, So, which is very good. But as a devotee, see, one of the 6 items of loving exchange Rupa Goswami mentioned is that somehow or the other, you have to find someone in the devotional service or in the devotional cycle who you know that will not betray you, that you can always reveal your mind in confidence to. I know many devotees, we have this challenge. We have this, major challenge of revealing our mind in confidence to someone because we are thinking that somebody is going to betray us or tell it to others. In that way, we keep all this pain in our hearts because naturally, psychologically, the best way to reduce your psychological pain is to share to someone you can trust. It's a natural psychological process. You understand? You have to share. Once you share it, you feel relieved. That is why I was listening to one man who was a preacher. So he was saying for all his 10 years, he has been trying to counsel a woman. He has failed because he was always trying to advise them. But finally, he now understood that actually you are not supposed to advise a woman who's coming to tell you about her troubles. You just listen. You listen. Just listen. You don't need to advise. Oh, Mataji, you should do like this. Oh, no. It's like, this person is not listening to me. One Maharaj, when we were doing one program in Mayapur, I was in Mayapur Academy, where we were learning about deity worship. So the Prabhu was teaching us about the Brahmanical culture there, was telling us. One Mataji called a Maharaj, and for 1 hour, he was speaking to the Maharaj. And the Maharaj was not saying anything. He was just re-echoing whatever she's saying. Oh, sorry. Oh, and you meant that. Oh, okay. Sorry. After speaking for a long time, and this woman just say, Maharaj, thank you so much. You are the first person who have listened to me in my entire life. Thank you so much. So at that time, she felt very relieved. She was just looking for someone she can talk to, who will listen to her without criticizing her, without judging her, without advising her. She just wants to pour out her heart because she has been carrying this burden for long. She just wants to pour it out. She doesn't need any advice. So that is why it is recommended by Srila Rupa Goswami. We must practice these 6 loving exchanges among devotees. Sometimes we find out it's very difficult for us to find out people that we can reveal our heart and confidence to. You have to do some litmus tests before you can reveal your mind and confidence to somebody. How do you do that? tell that person who you think is a potential person that you can reveal your mind in confidence with. Tell him little things that you can tolerate if you tell others. And leave it for like 1 month, 2 months. When 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you don't come hearing the echo of what you have told that person, then you can know that this person, I can reveal my mind in confidence with that person. Because in that way, when you reveal your mind in confidence with that person, you feel relief of all those pain that we have been keeping inside us. It's very, very important. It's a part of psychological process that devotee should pass through. That is why Srila Rupa Goswami mentioned it in the Nectar of Instruction. You must look for that person. Is he your guru? Is he a friend of a devotee of your equal level? You have to look for someone that you can always reveal your mind in confidence and inquire confidentially also. You see, and in that way, many of the trauma or pain we have been having in our mind or carrying around, we can share it. Vasudev Maharaj gave a very good example. I will stop here. After this example, he said, when you have a full paper, a full A4 paper, once you divide it into two, is it a full paper again? No. That is what happens when you share your mind in confidence to someone. You feel relieved. You feel, like you feel ill from within. So this is a very, very important, and that is why you see many devotees, because we don't have this in place, very strongly to help ourselves. We see many devotees always angry with each other. They're always scared of each other, suspicious of each other. In that way, we are not bonding with each other very strongly. It's a relationship very difficult in the community of devotees. So until and unless we become to practice this, we cannot strengthen our, psychological and physical relationship with, in terms of how to, behave in the devotee community. It's is the most important. You see, that is why in America or in this advanced country, you see people go to a cycle of people where they can go and reveal their mind. They go there, and it's like a cycle of drug addicts or cycle of whatever they are. And they come there, they relieve their mind, and before they started the process, they will be told about the policy. Whatever is said here ends inside this wall. Nothing goes outside this wall. See, so people feel free, they feel safe, they repeat their mind, and they let loose of that pain. Because sometimes some of the things we are keeping in our mind is like holding hot iron. We are holding the hot iron, and it's very hot. We are not letting go. So when we find the association of the body that we feel like we are protected and we are safe, and we let go, then the pain stops because you have let go the hot iron. See? So this we have to strengthen more and more in our devotee community. And because it's very, very important process for us. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu?
Yes.
Isn't there an explanation for that? Why your burden is getting like half? You're dividing your burden because you're sharing it to your friend. It's because your friend now is carrying half of your problems. Isn't that how it is?
No, it's not like that. It's not like the person will now start carrying the burden for you. But what happens is that it's a natural psychological process. When you say to someone who you trust, you let go. You have let go. So the healing process will start. Because if you have not said it, it's like you are bottoming up. And
Yeah, you're gonna implode.
You know when you bottle
You bottle up something?
when you bottle up carbonated water and you continue to shake it, you can continue to shake it. There's going to be problem. So this is what happens when you bottle up and we are not released. When you release it, you know, it's not like the person who is going to drink it now will start carrying body. No, he's enjoying it and it's helping you to heal. So as the carbonated water is being released, you are drinking it. The other person is drinking it and it's helping you to heal like that, something like that. I'm just trying to use some example to make
Yes,
us
Prabhu.
understand.
Because normally, Prabhu, when your friend tells you something, you worry about it too. The problem. You think about it all the time. Oh, I feel sorry for my friend, etc., etc.
That is why, if you are in that kind of mindset, you are going to tell it to someone also, because then it means that you are not mature to handle any other people's problem, because it's not supposed to worry you. You see, so when someone tells you something and begins to worry you, instead of helping the person to heal, just to listen to the person and make the person feel safe, create a security for that person, and it is not worrying you, then you have to be very careful. You are going to tell it to others because it starts worrying you. So you want to release it to others.
But isn't that just empathy, Prabhu? When you're sad for other people.
When you empathize, it's natural. But when you start carrying the burden of the empathy, then that is different.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah. To empathize is natural, but when you start carrying the burden of what the person has told you as empathy, then that is the problem. Okay, so we stop here. Sorry, we have gone 25 minutes and more. Always, when it comes to this kind of personal or relationships or this kind of discussion, I give it more paramount importance, because in the devotee association, it's very, very important for us to relate very deeply and feel safe and secure. This is one of the most important aspects of our happiness in devotional service. You see, if you look at people's life materially, those who have friends, they are more happy naturally than those who don't have friends. Means friends who know that this person got your back. You can tell him something, he can tell you something, you feel secure, feel safe in the association of each other. You see, those people, they feel more happy than those people who feel like they cannot trust anyone in this world. Very Krishna. See you on Monday. Hare Krishna. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.
Bye. Hare Krishna.
Bye.
Bye.